Spike Jonze nos regaló una de las historias del amor después del amor más lindas en las que podíamos pensar, gracias a las interpretaciones de Joaquin Phoenix y Scarlett Johansson, que, si bien no la vemos, quizás haya hecho uno de los mejores trabajos de toda su carrera, junto con Perdidos en Tokio, de la que ya hablaremos en algún futuro no muy lejano. Hablé con Barrett, el diseñador de producción, que me contó cómo fue pensar en este futuro no tan lejano y cómo fue crear el ambiente en el que vivía Theodore para que no fuera tan distractivo, para meternos de lleno en la historia del protagonista sin perder de vista que todo transcurría en algún futuro quizás no muy lejano. Hablamos desde cómo fue pensar en ese universo en el que vivía Theodore, desde cuánto contribuyó Joaquin Phoenix a pensar en ese ambiente en el que todo se desarrollaba y de cómo fue planificar ese futuro y pensarlo de alguna forma lo más simple y reduccionista posible.
We now return to Mira Akien and Contre with our latest interview.
I thought it was very rewarding that our instinct paid off. I never think of awards being given to movies that don't have too much art direction. I mean, too little. They often have too much, just like your eye is just bouncing off the walls from so much information. And I've tried that too, but it doesn't feel correct to my soul as much as minimalism does.
Theodore, I saw in your emails that you'd gone through a breakup recently.
You're kind of nosy.
Am I? You'll get used to it.
When we started to think about these things, Siri had just come out. And so we were playing with that, but Spike had thought of the story long before that, and we realized it wasn't very intelligent, and it would need to learn on the way, which Samantha does, to a heightened degree. But it was just a matter of it was like the surroundings. The technology had to be very simple. Had to be very direct. When you're talking to someone on a human level, it's much nicer if you see them rather than talk on the phone. Although now that we've done all these Zooms, sometimes it's nicer just to talk on the phone. It's so refreshing because your mind can wander and you don't have anything to look at. You're just engaging one sense. Again, expectations, not just dystopia when we come to future things, but everybody thinks of like gadgets and like fancy things. And I really didn't want to play with any of that. None of that really interested me. I didn't want to be showing off the latest car or the latest technological device. And in reality, that had been done in films a lot further forward than it had in real life. The notion of having a foldable phone had been done in a film. The notice of having glass screens, holograms had been done in films. The only other technology that was used in the film that doesn't really exist is the holographic video game.
Oh, yeah, this is different. Hello?
It was reductive. It was take things away that don't really help the story, take things the way that a viewer might look at and wonder about. They go like, oh, I want that. I wonder how that works. All of a sudden, then you're out of the story. You're into technology or you're into coveting, and it's not about that. Me and Spike, just would bat these things around. At first, we were very excited about what we could show, and then it became more and more obvious that the fewer things that we showed and just stayed in his wonderment, the better it was and the more honest it was.
I want to learn everything about everything. I want to discover myself.
I want that for you too.
Keep going. Keep going.
It's always a trick when you get to design something that there's no precedent for. So there's no rules in a way. Everybody imagines the future differently. And I wanted to make sure that since we had this chance, that we didn't make a future that anybody expected. And then I started looking into it, and it really puzzled me why people always expect the same thing. It's very disappointing.
Yeah.
But it was really Spike's notion that everything was comfortable, that it wasn't dystopian, that everything was provided for the character. We didn't have to worry about how much money they made or different levels of society's, stratas and things like that. And it wasn't to avoid the subject matter or gloss over it. It was because it wasn't what the story was about.
Yeah.
And your first responsibility when you read a script is making sure that everything that you do only pertains to that story. Don't bring other stories into it that don't belong. Since he's having trouble with being with other people, I thought that, you know, it should just be a very Spartan world. I think it's my instinct anyway. I tend to like things that are very simple.
Yeah.
I just think I don't like cluttered sets. I like you to be able to focus on what's there, and everything has to have a purpose, and there's a reason for it to be there, and you understand why that character accumulated those things or the history of them, and that's part of not distracting.
You're dating your computer?
She's not just a computer.
You always wanted to have a wife without the challenges of actually dealing with anything real. I'm glad that you found someone.
How's like thinking of the environment according to the emotions that he has?
Well, think of how lonely it is to have this nice apartment with this wonderful view,
Yeah.
and no one to share it with. You know.
Yeah.
At one point when we were dressing his apartment, we had a dining table with like 4 chairs, and Joaquin saw it and he said, no, I wouldn't be entertaining yet. I wouldn't, you know. And so we took a couple chairs away, then we took the table away, you know, and then we packed some stuff up as if he had never unpacked, you know, from his move from his divorce. So his life is a melancholy song.
Yeah.
His apartment is a melancholy song, you know.
Play a melancholy song.
When you know you're gonna die, it isn't easy.
Play a different melancholy song.
That was just the only instance. You know, I like to show the space that they're going to be, and the director, Spike, likes to do it too, likes to show the actor the space that they're going to call their own, you know, and especially in a film where it's a solitary environment where you're not entertaining other people. It was very important to show that apartment. And so he was the one who said, you know, I wouldn't have this. I wouldn't have spent time collecting certain things or making it presentable to other people. And actors are very good because they're a very good source of visual information about the world, because they've built their own character by thinking about it and thinking about how they would act and how they would dress and their mannerisms, and sometimes even their off the page backstory. Yeah. And so I try to think of these environments the same way an actor would in building a character. I have to build the parallel character with them, you know. So it was just that one walkthrough when we made that adjustment, but we weren't really finished anyway. Usually I'll dress a space with my decorator, who was Gene Sardina on this film and many other films we did together, and then we'll start stripping it away. So we'll rough it in with the objects of normal life, and then we'll start taking it away, and then we'll start moving things around, thinking of where somebody would really put something. And you'll sit in a chair and you'll throw the newspaper down, and you'll pick up the trash and move around, and you'll start to make it more ergonomic to real life. And we hadn't had really that chance when Joaquin and Spike came to see it, but it was great that they came at that moment, and we were able to make a quick adjustment.
Please wait as your operating system is initiated.
Hello, I'm here.
Hi.
Hi, I'm Samantha.
We kept thinking about what to include in the film, me and Spike, and finally he said, let's just put in things we like, you know? It wasn't like trying to please anybody. It wasn't trying to tell anybody what a future was or wasn't. It was just like, if we like something, let's just put it in. Yeah. And it's a great way to do something without, as long as you're not stepping on the toes of the character. Like I could be a production designer and put things in films that I liked and didn't belong in the film, and that wouldn't be a correct way to go about it. But the things that do belong, make sure the version of that is something that you like. It's funny because people would say, I want to live there, and I want to live in that future. And I go, that is not the future. You do live in that future. You can just choose to, curate your life or the things around you like that. And so it felt nice that people liked the world and like the character and like the story enough to enjoy it, you know, and share it with other people and talk about it.
Yeah.
You never want to do a film where no one talks about it. I don't care if they don't like it and they argue about it, but I want them to have a discussion about it, and it being part of our cultural discussion was great.
Now we know how.
Million miles away.